Our first guest tonight to take up the anger, the hate, the desperation of Dems in the Kavanaugh hearing and the new call for President Trump to declassify and release the Carter Page FISA application documents. Joining us tonight, Congressman Matt Gaetz. He's been at the forefront of the battle to expose corruption at the highest levels of both the Justice Department and the FBI. The congressman serves on a number of very important committees, including Judiciary, the Budget and Armed Services committees. Good to have you with us. Congressman, let's start with these hearings for a justice to sit on the Supreme Court. The Dems' behavior, I have seen some ugly hearings. The Democrats look absolutely berserk.
Well, you're absolutely right, Lou, and this really highlights the choice that voters will have in the upcoming election. Do we want results or resistance? Do we want to move the country forward with more growth of our GDP, higher wages, and people on the courts in our land who will interpret the law rather than trying to make the law from the bench? Or do we want just the persistent lunacy that we see from the left? I think that Trump derangement syndrome is getting so bad we might have to have Medicaid cover it as an ailment. But what you saw from Cory Booker today was very selfish and very serious as well, Lou, because it puts in jeopardy the future of the Senate's work in the confirmation process. Yeah. If potential people looking for an appointment or to be confirmed don't believe that their information will be treated with some semblance of respect, then they'll be less forthcoming in the future.
I have to say, Congressman, Cory Booker was, I mean, he exposed who he is, his qualifications, and the fact that he seems utterly lost in the role of a U.S. Senator. I mean, it was bizarre. By the way, he wasn't
the front end of the wave.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're going to see more of it, Lou, because here's the thing: he wants to be president, and you got about 20 Democrats over in the Senate that all wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and say, "Good morning, Madam President," or "Good morning, Mr. President." So what they're going to do is they're going to continue to be crazier and crazier just to try to get attention. And I think at the end of the day, that's probably going to help President Trump.
Let me turn to that very issue. The president right now. You and 11 other congressmen making it very clear that you want the president to declassify the Carter Page FISA application documents. The first question is, why hasn't it happened to this point? The second is, in asking for that to be done by the White House in the next week, do you think it will happen?
I hope it'll happen, because we have done all we can do, Lou. I mean, you've seen the headwinds that we face at times from our own leadership in trying to conduct appropriate oversight, and we need the president to declassify this information so the American people not only see what was in the application to spy on someone close to President Trump, but also what wasn't in that application. They never told a secret court that Bruce Ohr was functioning as essentially the handler for Christopher Steele, who wrote the dossier, while at the same time Christopher Steele was a co-worker of Bruce Ohr's wife. Right. You should not be able to buy your way into the Justice Department or the intelligence community with political cash, and that's why we need transparency. And if President Trump's watching, I sure hope that he will be bold and will declassify this information.
Well, Congressman, it's kind of hard to keep them out of there when people are willing to spend $12 million like Hillary Clinton did and the Democratic National Committee did in hiring Fusion GPS and Christopher Steele to create that phony dossier that they use for the FISA applications. I mean, that's a lot of money for a smear job.
Well, absolutely. And whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, we never want a circumstance where if you hire the right person's spouse, that your opposition research, your political dirt, converts into intelligence information. That is the true crime here. That is what we should be focused on.
But that's the crime of the Justice Department and the judges who just basically rubber stamp the application.
No, you're right, and I think that the judges only know what's before them, and there was an obligation to present all of the information, not just the information the FBI wanted to present, and they hid the information that was exculpatory, and that I think would have been very helpful in the court's decision.
Yeah, let me turn to, if I may, this tweet by the president today, if we can go to that, please. The president indicating that he may soon declassify, at least that's the way I read this tweet, saying the deep state and the left and their vehicle, the fake news media, are going crazy. and they don't know what to do. The economy is booming like never before. Jobs are at historic highs. Soon, 2 Supreme Court justices and maybe declassification to find additional corruption. Wow. I should add one thing, if I may, parenthetically. Today, jobless claims fell to an almost half-century low. The Trump economy continues to roll. This is an important moment for the president in deciding to declassify that FISA document. Will he?
I sure hope he will, and I think he will, and he should, because the American people deserve transparency. And the tweet you just pointed to, Lou, that is what really, I think, encapsulates this presidency. A tremendous amount of progress in the face of headwinds, not only from all the Democrats, but even from some Republicans and bureaucrats in the media who want to stand in the way of this president's success because they don't like the fact that he's disrupting the status quo, that he's shaking things up and changing things. You know what? I love it, and the American people love it, and that's why we're going to keep the success going. Results, not resistance. That's our message in the midterms, and I think it'll be successful.
One quick last question. Your letter, 12 congressmen beseeching the president to declassify this document. Why wasn't any member of the Republican leadership on that letter?
Well, you know, sometimes our leaders like to let the rank and file really germinate the ideas. I will note, Lou, that in our call for a second special counsel, the majority leader, Kevin McCarthy, and the majority whip, Steve Scalise, both joined us. And so sometimes leadership isn't being the first one in Congress. Leadership can sometimes join after they see a groundswell of the rank and file members like me.
Yeah, now that sounds almost Obama-esque. Isn't that a little bit like leading from behind? No, I didn't mean that, Congressman. Just kidding.
I know you didn't, Lou.
Thanks so much, Congressman Matt Gaetz, who leads from the front. We'll tell you that. Thank you very much for being with us, Congressman.